Junkyard right here on your classic metal show with Simple Man, one of Chris's favorite tunes from Junkyard. It's a very good tune, actually.
Love me some Junkyard, man.
I know you do.
Great band.
And I don't know how this guy feels about Junkyard or not, but I want to welcome back to the Classic Metal Show our good friend Joe Kleon. What's going on there, Joe?
Hey, thanks a lot for having me back on, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're still expecting that big check in the mail for all these appearance fees.
Got to pay that streaming off somehow, huh?
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
Licensing fees.
Of course. So
nice.
What's going on in your world there, Joe?
Doing my usual concert photo fundraiser for the animal shelter where I volunteer, something I do every year, and bigger and better this year than I've ever done. 173 concert photos of mine, and 100% of the proceeds from all of the auctions will benefit a place called Kitten Krazy, which is a cat shelter in Medina.
Very nice. It's already been a year since we did this last time?
It's actually been a little bit more than a year. I usually do it right around Christmas or early in January, but doing it a little bit later this year.
Wow, how about that? Well, that's as a not that I'm trying to inflate your ego or anything, but that is one piece of art that is missing in the CMS studio here. So I'm going to have to pony up some bucks and see what you got going on there and buy a piece for the studio here.
I think I would donate a couple of pieces to the studio free of charge, man. So just let me know what you need.
Well, I'll be glad to throw some dollars your way.
Yeah, don't do
I
it.
would. Well, how about you could just bid on some stuff on my auctions, and the money can go to Kitten Krazy.
Well, there you go. I intend on doing that.
All the auctions are at kittenkrazy.org, and that is crazy with a K, so 2 Ks, kittenkrazy.org. And like I said, I usually did 30 to 50 photos in the past, and I did 173 this year. So we have a ton of stuff, and there's a ton of metal stuff as well. All kinds of stuff from Saxon to UFO, Scorpions, Rush, AC/DC, Dream Theater, Overkill, Lemmy, Motley Crue back before Vince Neil was pregnant, Alice Cooper, all kinds of hard rock and metal stuff. If you got some nieces and nephews and you wanted to get some pop stuff, there's Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or Katy Perry, stuff like that. There's some country stuff, a little bit of stuff for everybody, but most of it is rock, hard rock, prog rock, metal.
And the thing that people need to know, and obviously they know it here, Joe, and you'll never say it, but I'll say it. This is not your run-of-the-mill bullshit that people are taking with their camera phone at a show. I mean, these are the A+ quality shots that are very, very rare, and they're the kind that bands use in like their press or in their CD jackets or, for their posters or whatnot. I mean, Joe is I would say one of those. There's the biggest name guys in the world, the Niels, whatever his name is with the Z's. Yeah, that guy. And, there's a couple other guys in the rock photography world. And then that second level is definitely led by a guy like Joe, because he's out all the time. He's always taking photos, and he's mastered the craft to where he doesn't release one. I mean, I see a lot of Joe's proofs because he puts them on his Facebook page, just, for people to get a feel for a show that he was at night. And Joe really doesn't take a whole lot of shitty pictures. So if you're looking, if you put art, like rock art, on your walls, you cannot go wrong with Joe's stuff. I have a piece of Joe's art, and I'm not even the biggest fan in the world, although I have seen him. I saw him on this tour. I have the Roger Waters picture on my wall because the photo is stunning. I mean, it's a stunning photo. And it's so stunning that it actually looks kind of photoshopped, even though it's not. And that's the kind of work Joe does. Every photo that he takes, and if you go and look at the auctions, his McCartney and especially his Geddy Lee photo that he's selling this year, I'm tempted to buy the Geddy Lee. I don't even like Rush, but I'm being honest. That Geddy Lee photo is so fucking rock and roll that I just sort of want it on my wall. And Joe, I know you won't toot your own horn, and that's why I'm doing it for you, because you really do take quality photos, man.
Well, I really appreciate the kind words. I really do. And the biggest the biggest compliment for me is not to get a picture on the front page of the Cleveland Plain Dealer or Classic Rock Magazine or anything like that. The biggest compliment for me is when someone likes a picture of mine so much that they'll hang it in their house.
Right.
And want to look at it every day, and that's a bigger compliment than anything. So I really appreciate that.
Well, I mean, and you've seen in my house, I have the Roger Waters front and center in my living room. It's like the featured piece of art that I have up in my living room. So you do quality work, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
if Chris were still married, it would be in the garage.
It'd be in the garbage. Who are you kidding?
in the garbage.
she would have.
You could look at all of the photos online on the eBay auctions, and there's links to all of the 173 auctions at kittenkrazy.org. And once again, that's crazy with a K. And also the girl that I do an art gallery exhibit with every year, Anastasia Pantios, who is a renowned Cleveland concert photographer,
Sure.
especially for her work in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. She has donated 10 photos that are also part of the auctions this year, and they are amazing photos. Some David Bowie shot from the 70s, and some Joe Walsh and U2, and some other stuff from the 1980s. Some really iconic Cleveland stuff that we have of hers as well. And I'm very, very happy to have her on board this year to help out with the fundraiser. And she also has adopted a cat from Kitten Krazy, so she's the parent of a Kitten Krazy cat.
Look at that.
So is she a crazy old cat lady now?
She's a crazy old cat lady, yes. If you go on to kittenkrazy.org and you look at the Bowie photos of hers, they are absolutely incredible. The one she has from I think 1972, it's just really, really incredible.
Dude, you know what's a really good photo? And I'm not trying to jump off of Anastasia back onto you, but one that, and I'm probably going to buy it from you. I just haven't yet. I love, and I don't know if it's even in the auction or not yet. And if not, it should be. I love the shot that you took of Angus Young, where he's like playing and he's got it's like early in a show before he's lost his hat and all his clothes and shit. But he looks almost like a fuck doll where he's got his mouth kind of, like,
how's that go, Chris?
It's like, a plastic fuck doll look on his face. But it's an amazing fucking power shot of Angus Young, man. And it's what I like. And I don't know, I guess people look at art and judge art for different reasons. What I find to be interesting as a dummy that just would put this shit on my wall is really, really vibrant colors. And the color that you captured of Angus in that shot is really, really crisp, which makes it just a fucking beautiful shot, man.
Well, thank you. I have two Angus photos from that show, and they're fairly similar that are both part of the auctions.
Okay, I need to get that.
And the way you're so sexually excited, I should probably have a scotch card for you.
Well, maybe I'll just pay extra if you vinyl it and cut a hole in the mouth. I'll keep it in the bathroom.
Anatomically correct.
I'll just keep it in the bathroom for some use. But no, great. That's a great photo as well. And I think everybody's different, dude. I mean, what do you find, Joe? What do people, when people buy your work, what are they telling you? I mean, I'm sure, especially at the galleries that you do more than anything else, I'm sure when people buy a piece of art, it's like everything else. They want to tell you why it's good. I mean, what are they telling you?
It's weird for me because I don't think I'm a good judge of that. There's photos that I almost don't post from a show that I go back and forth in my head. Oh, I don't think that's good enough, but I'll end up posting it. And it turns out that it's the favorite one of everybody from that show. So I don't really consider myself a really good judge of that. But
okay.
I mean, the photos that I think resonate with other people and that resonate with me are like any photo, one that shows emotion, one that shows the musician in the moment where he's in the zone and he's even tuned out the audience to the point where he's just in the musical zone and he has that look on his face and he's in his own little world of just doing his thing. And those kind of powerful emotional moments, I think even not outside of music are what make really great photographs.
Right. Or rather, do you get a lot of people that say to you, okay, I'll buy this photo, but you have to take it out of stock so that I'm the only one that has it.
I think I've done that in a couple of licensing issues where someone will license a photo and they'll want exclusivity, but not someone just buying it to put it in their house.
Okay. Because see, I would think that people are very possessive, especially if they're dropping, several $100s on like one of those vinyl prints that you do or whatnot. If they were to drop several $100s, I could see somebody saying, yeah, I don't want to fucking go to my neighbors and see the same picture on the wall.
Just don't go to your neighbor's house then.
Nice.
Did you want to license that Roger Waters, Chris?
You know what? It wouldn't bother me if it was. I will say that I'm not going to lie and say that even though I know that I'm fairly confident, I'll put it that way, that it's one of Joe's more popular pictures. It does sort of bug me that I see it in his auction every year.
That was one of the first ones that got bids this year, as a matter of fact.
Oh, and you've sold it before. I mean, I watched you sell another copy of it when I was at the gallery that's 2 years.
That's one of the photos that when I took it, I didn't even really see what I was taking. I mean, it was kind of zoomed out because it has a picture of him on this big screen, and also, him in front of the screen performing. So it's like a double image of him. And I was more just getting a full stage shot and wasn't even really trying to zoom in on that double image of him. But once I saw it, it looked so good, and I cropped it and blew up the middle of it, and that's what you got. A lot of my pictures are just fabulous accidents.
Well, I think the difference is, though, dude, guys that know how to take pictures, and there is an art to it. Guys that know how to take pictures know how to get those accidents. Dickhead like me with my iPhone, you could let me take 10,000 pictures at a show and I'll never capture anything that good.
Probably 3 or 4 times a year, I see somebody in the pit at, a major 20,000 seat venue that has a photo pass and they're thinking that they're going to take pictures with their iPhone.
I can't believe that the security or that the band themselves doesn't say, hey, get that fucking guy out of here.
Sometimes Live Nation or one of the promoters will not allow it, but I've seen it happen as many times as I've seen it not happen.
Is that because the phones are so high quality now, or the 4K photo?
No, they're not. No, they're not high quality. You can get a good picture of your friends standing in a room with no motion, but if you try and take a concert photo with an iPhone where the people are moving around fast and the lights are moving, it's going to be pure shit.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just saying more because it's a 4K quality than I'm certainly not trying to say an iPhone has the same quality as the $2,000 lens that you put on your camera to take a photo.
I love the little clip-on lenses that you can buy for your phones, and they try and pretend like they're actual professional grade lenses.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Well, did you take photos at the recent Kiss concert there in Cleveland? What was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Joe?
I did, and Kiss is usually really good with photographers where they'll let us in the pit for the first 3 songs, and then for those first 3 songs, they will concentrate on just mugging for the photographers. And that's why every time in your life you see a Kiss picture, it's a great picture because they mug for the photographers and they realize the importance of really good pictures. This last end of the road tour was the complete opposite. We had to shoot the first song from the soundboard, which, is in the back of the venue. And then for the second song, we could shoot from the pit if we could make it there. So we had to run to the pit from the soundboard to shoot the second song, which was, I think, shouted out loud. So it was a short song. And I looked at the time between the first and the last picture in the pit. You know how much time I had in the pit to shoot up close?
30 seconds.
A minute and 40 seconds.
That's insane.
Well, did you get any quality photos?
I got some okay photos, but the past couple of Kiss shows I shot before that, I got much, much better photos. And those are the ones I have in the auction this year or ones from previous shows. A recent show that is in the auction, I did get some really great shots from the Metallica show recently in February. So I have 4 of those up in the auctions.
I might have to buy those so I could see.
And how did those turn out? I know Chris was at that show. He loved it. He enjoyed that show quite a bit.
No, I did not.
They were taken from the soundboard. I had a long lens, and yeah, they're good. They came out good. Some of the shots have some of the crowd in the shot, which there's a couple shots of Kirk Hammett doing some solos with the crowd in front of him that are cool. Yeah, I would much rather be in the pit for those shows and be up close, but you know, I make do when I'm at the back of the venue. And for Metallica, we were pretty far back. There was not much farther we could go before hitting the back wall.
Oh, I'll argue with you, dude. I found how much further you could go back with my shitbag seats. I was like 2 rows from the top. I was the worst seats in the house. They were terrible. And every time those goddamn blocks drop down, you know, those blocks that go up and down, every time they dropped the blocks down, I couldn't see the fucking stage. It was terrible.
But yeah, for that show, I was just 2 songs and I was out. So most of the shows I don't get a ticket for. So when I'm done shooting my 2 or 3 songs, I'm escorted to the door.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why would they do that to you guys? Why wouldn't they let you enjoy the show, for fuck's sake?
I mean, once in a while I can ask for a ticket if it's a band I really like or a pair of tickets, and I don't abuse asking for it all the time, so I can usually get a pair if I want them. But it used to bother me a long time ago that I couldn't stay, but now I want to get the hell out of there most of the time. Beat the traffic home. It takes me 3 hours to get the photos done. I have to have the photos done in the morning anyway, so if I stayed at the end of the show, I'd be up till 4 a.m. every night.
Yeah, you and Chris are like birds of a feather these days. Chris wants to be home and in bed by 8:30.
I do. Dude, there's something.
Get old.
There's something about that. I would much rather, you know, there was a time that I was that guy that stayed till the very end and stayed until all the people were out before I would even get out of my chair and leave, because I was partying and whatnot. Now I literally look for shows where the band that I want to see is not the headliner, so that I can see the band that I want to see and get the fuck out of there by like 8:15. So I can not deal with any traffic anymore. It's like, yeah, you can stay for fucking whoever, you know, whatever new band that I don't like. I'll see Disturbed and leave early. You know, it's like, come on. You know, I just can't stand. I can't stand the traffic anymore. I can't stand the dummies in the fucking parking garage, you know, that won't let you in, and you sit in the parking garage for 3 hours while nobody moves. Fuck that. I'd rather just see what I want to see. I'd rather watch it on YouTube, to be honest, anymore. It's easier.
Well, I like getting out of most shows after 2 or 3 songs, unless it's a band I really, really love. And for some of those bands, I'll just buy a ticket so I can get a good ticket anyway.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of these bands, I mean, what, I'm going to stay around for Carrie Underwood and watch the whole show? Come on.
Dude, are you, I mean, as a music guy and as, you know, as somebody that makes his living off of these bands, you know, basically, I mean, you obviously make it through the publications that buy the photos, but, you know, the bands have to be there for you to make your living. Are you surprised at the, I don't know if talent level is the right wording, but at the talent, the quality of bands that are drawing the biggest crowds versus the, you know, the ones that are smaller now? It just seems like, you know, when I was at, and I'll just give the example, when I was at Metallica or Bob Seger, those are 2 shows that I saw at the Q recently. And I watched the advertising that was going on for the other shows that were coming there. And, you know, it was like Carrie Underwood and Mumford and Sons and shit like that. And I was like, how are these bands big enough to draw this many people to fill, you know, 18,000 seats or whatever the queue holds, you know? But I don't experience those bands a lot. You know, I might hear a song here or there. You being in the business and somebody that's been in both the radio business and now this business, are you surprised at what it is that is drawing and the numbers of people that are being drawn to what I would say is kind of schlocky horseshit?
Oh, now that I'm an old fuck, I'm appalled by it. I think the type of talent has changed from being an exceptional musician like you saw a lot of the 70s and 80s bands, the virtuoso musicians that were saturated all throughout the rock, the subgenres and stuff. Now I think the talent level is more the production, the lighting, the dancing, the show. That's what draws the 18,000 people to the Beyonce concert that's voice tracked and lip synced and all that stuff. They're not going there because the guitar player went to fucking Juilliard or something. They're going there because it's a light show, it's a dance show. The music is secondary for a lot of these bands.
Right. So do you think that like I know one that you've taken photos of and that have been, widely used is Ariana Grande. Do you think that you could just swap her out with any other 20-year-old hottie chick and it would work?
I think she's maybe one of the exceptions because she is pretty talented vocally.
Okay.
I think she's as good as a Christina Aguilera or any of the other, female really great vocalists that have been around in the last 20 or 30 years. But there's a lot of other ones that aren't. There's a lot of these, teeny bands, these 5 Seconds of Summer type of bands and stuff that it's just, I think the music is secondary. Everything else is the presentation and the party and the lights and the dancing, and that's all. That's what people want to see more. They don't care how good the music is. Give them a good chorus they can sing along to and a bunch of dancers. They don't give a shit about anything else.
Crazy.
Well, Joe, how would you rate a concert or band photographer Mark Weiss? Have you seen his work, and do you know him at all?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Mark Weiss, the Weiss guy. He's
the Weiss. Yeah, I've seen. I think I've seen some of his Van Halen photography. Didn't he do some Van Halen stuff?
He's done a lot of photography for just about mostly 80s stuff, mostly 80s bands. But yeah, I believe he's done Van Halen.
Yeah, Van Halen was the one thing I thought that I remembered, and now I'm looking at his website here, and yeah, I do. A lot of shots that I've seen in the past I know are his, but yeah, the one Van Halen shot here I did remember. Looks like I think it was Women and Children First, I think, in that era.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely an interesting character. He doesn't remember one thing to the next. He'll be talking to you for 2 minutes or so, and then you'll run into him and he'll act like he just met you just that first time.
It's a dying art. I mean, there's a lot of artists even more now that are just not allowing local photographers, and they'll just make you use their stock photos. They'll take photos on the very first show of the tour, and then for the rest of the tour, that's the photos they send out to media. So,
Jesus.
like, there was just a recent show where one of the magazines I shoot for, put a caption under the photo that they wouldn't let us take photos at this show, so here's one from another city. But a lot of places won't do that, and you'll see a review from the show, and you'll see an accompanying photo or two, and it's not even from that show because they won't allow local photographers. It's getting harder and harder to just get credentialed to shoot a show.
And what's the reason? Copywriting?
I think they just don't give a shit anymore. The bands and the publicists, I think, just don't give a shit about having photos at shows. And we can pay someone to take photos at the first show, and we can control the photos. We don't have to, worry about these other people selling them and using them or posting bad photos. And it just gives them more control.
It just seems so opposite of what's going on in the world, man. I mean, if anything, Instagram is the biggest fucking social media right now, and that's all pictures.
Well, who wants to read a concert review of a show in Cleveland and you see a picture from Buffalo? It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It's not their show. That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, everything is so social media right now, and everything is, video clips and images, even more than reviews. I mean, I would imagine, and I don't know this to be true. You might not, but I would imagine when Scene posts up an article that has your video gallery or your photo gallery attached to it, that 90% of the people look at the photos and don't read the article.
Yeah, I'm not, you're probably right. It doesn't make any sense the way that they're doing this stuff, and they add more and more restrictions, and they make it more and more difficult. They give you less and less time. I think it was Garth Brooks when he did his last tour. I just refused to shoot the show, but they were allowing the first 30 seconds of the first 2 songs. And the only thing worse than that is that some poor schlub has to sit there with a stopwatch, and at 30 seconds, while the show is going on, it has to go in and try and get the photographers to stop taking pictures after 30 seconds.
Jesus.
That's so stupid. That's not just the dumbest thing you've ever heard of.
That's just stupid. It doesn't make, and I get it. There's all the, the copyright is such an amazingly difficult thing to police these days. And I get all that. I mean, certainly you're involved in that as well, but my God, these guys they're killing. It's already a dying business, the music industry, and they go out of their way to do fucky stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Well, what really doesn't make any sense is let's take somebody like Lady Gaga, who doesn't normally allow any local photographers.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno Mars is another one. You'll see 5,000 photos on social media from people in the first 10 rows.
Yeah.
But then you go to all the local media and you don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any. The people who will take the good pictures, that have the good cameras, that are professionals,
yeah,
are the people they lock out. Every dumbass in the crowd with an iPhone, oh, they're okay with that.
Yeah, it makes zero sense. They'd rather have some shitty, blurry picture of Bruno Mars running by his piano in the middle of a dance routine instead of an actual professionally shot, high speed photography that where every photo is clear. It makes no sense. But I guess I just guess
that shot Led Zeppelin back in the day, and when you shot a show back in the 70s, you shot the whole show.
Yeah,
came through and paid 3.5 hours. You shot 3.5 hours.
Well, and dude, there is some proof in the pudding that the more photos that are taken, the better. And I'll point to something that you are absolutely involved in, and you may not see it this way. But I've always thought this. Wish You Were Here, the Pink Floyd tribute band that is massive here, locally here in town, in Cleveland area. Big part of the reason that they are massively huge here is because that you shoot their entire show every single time they play, and there is just a flurry of great visual to it that even if you're not a Wish You Were Here fan per se, just being on Facebook with somebody that is, you'll see the visual enough to eventually that you go to a show or a show a year. And they've built their audience based on the visual that they've pretty much contracted you to do. I'm certainly not degrading anything that they do or saying that, well, if they didn't have photography, they wouldn't be a great band. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is they have proven by having high quality photography at every show that is seen throughout the area all the time, that they've built basically a national sized audience locally.
Well, and the high quality images are, they give the band a much better presentation, just like having first rate audio engineers during the shows and making the shows sound as good as they possibly can, rather than use a house venue guy who may be good but doesn't know the nuances of the band.
Right.
Anytime you go to that upper level of presenting yourself, it's absolutely going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird to see a lot of these bands that they just, if they gave us 3 songs in the pit and just didn't hinder anything, it would be okay. But then they want to put you in the soundboard and they want to put you behind these people. And, you're at the soundboard, but you can't take a little 5-foot stool to stand on to elevate you above the crowd when there's nobody within 100 feet of you. And they just put these stupid restrictions, just, I think, for no reason other than it makes somebody feel important because they can set them.
Well, Joe, it's a never-ending thing. Now, how long do you anticipate you'll continue being involved with shooting live shows?
I'm kind of scaling back a little bit, just because in 15 years I've done about 1,200 shows, and over the last 4 or 5 years I've done about 120 shows a year. So I've got pretty much everybody that's on my bucket list, and a lot of bands I've shot, I'm not shooting a second or a third time. So I am scaling back a little bit, and with the restrictions and the way everything is going, I imagine another 5 years or so I'll probably be done, and I'll probably scale down going to that point.
Yeah, that's what Chris is doing. He announced tonight he's scaling back on the CMS because after so long, he's done. He's just done with it.
Tired.
A little disappointed when I heard that announcement. I thought that was kind of a bummer.
Just kind of.
Just kind of, yeah.
Not that big of a deal.
All right, Joe. Well, why don't you tell everybody where they could go bid on this auction for the, what is it, Crazy Kitty?
Kitten Krazy.
Once again, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much. And I know last year when I was on that I had a couple of bids once I got off the air, and at this time of the night, I know that they were from the show. So once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And everything will be live for 10 days. It's kittenkrazy.org. Kitten and Crazy, both with K's, kittenkrazy.org. On the front page, there is a little banner that talks about the fundraiser, and if you click that, you'll go to the page, and there is links to 173 auctions, mostly hard rock and metal, all kinds of stuff, and they'll be live for 10 days. Place some bids, and concert photos make great gifts, and 100% of the proceeds go directly to the animal shelter. It's actually their eBay account, so I don't handle the money. Everything goes 100% to them. And it's a 501c3, so if you buy a photo or two, you can claim it on your taxes as a charitable contribution.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm going to go over there because I am a fan of Pussy, so I will, maybe grab a couple myself and proudly hang them here in the studio. So everybody needs to do the same. kittenkrazy.org. Go over there and bid on some rock memorabilia, some pictures and stuff.
Help out the pussy.
Yeah, that too.
Thank you guys very much, man. I love the show. I love hanging out in the chat rooms every week, and I really appreciate you giving me the time to promote the fundraiser. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Joe. Well, you're always welcome back anytime.
Hail, kill, fuck you, hand job, all that shit.
All right, we'll see you.
Have a good night.
All right, Joe.
There goes Joe Kleon.
There he goes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna buy some, huh?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at the walls here. And I got some space here, and I got to see what he's got up there. But I'm gonna get a couple.
Yeah.
Get a couple photos for the CMS walls here.
Yeah. The Angus Young. I'm not lying. That is a fucking kick-ass picture. Did you see it? I put it in the chat room.
No, I didn't look.
I'll put it back in the chat room again real quick.
Let me take a look here.
So that you don't have to go scrolling and looking for it.
Buzzing going on with every time I bring that page up.
There you go.
All right, let's take a look. Oh yeah, he's got the fuck doll face.
He's got the fuck doll face.
Yeah, he looks like he could probably suck a maid cock.
Looks like you could ride him in a pool.
Exactly.
Like a pool float with a guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so go over there and go bid on some photos and stuff, and help out the pussies.
That's right.
I'm not a big cat fan, but if I could score some good merch for the CMS studio, I'm all about it.
Right. Well, it is definitely he definitely takes some great photos. I mean, being friends with him on Facebook, every concert he goes to, he posts, the photos like the unedited, I guess they'd be unedited, just the raw shots that he takes right after, just like kind of, just like, hey, here's a feel of the show tonight type of a thing. And he takes some fucking amazing photos. There's been more times than less that I've looked at his photos and gone, fuck, I wish I'd have gone to that show. And I think that all by itself is the hallmark of a good fucking photographer.
Sure, absolutely, because it looks like you missed something.
Yeah, and I've done that numerous times with Joe's photos. He's a really good fucking photographer, and I know him and I are friends, but I'm not saying that because him and I are friends, because I have a lot of friends that are do different things in the business that I never talk about because they, quite frankly, stink. But
yeah, that's why I never hear you praise John and his vocal ability.
I'll say that John can sing.
I'm just teasing.
He sings shitty songs, but he can sing. I will say that his I don't know that they're his choices, because a lot of times he'll call me and I'll be like, I gotta fucking learn this fucking song. You know, he fucking hates a lot of the songs that the band wants him to sing.
Sure, but you know, he's there to please the crowd, so he's gotta sing something the people want.
Yeah, and I always bust his balls about singing the fucking Outfield song, just because that song is so fucking homosexual.
Yeah, didn't one of those guys die?
Hopefully, they all did.
Yeah, I think one of the guys from the Outfield died.
I don't know. They stunk. What was that song was terrible then. I just want to use your love tonight.
Yeah. He's on a vacation far away.
Not far enough that you're still writing about her, you fucking dicks. Fucking hate that song. There was just a slew of those bands at that moment that were just crap.
Right.
You know, while this one had one good song, that Mr. Mister came out at the exact same time and just had a bunch of shitty songs. They had Broken Wings, which was really good.
Right.
Do you remember the song Kyrie?
I do.
Ugh, that was awful too. Kyrie lay.
Well, here's something that a lot of people don't know, and not that it's a big deal, but when Peter Cetera left Chicago, they were trying to recruit him to take his place.
In what, Mr. Mister?
They were trying to recruit the Mr. Mister singer for Chicago.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Mr. Mister.
But he was a singer bassist, and they were trying to recruit him to take Peter Cetera's place before they settled on Jason Scheff.
Well,
But Mr. Mister was kind of popular at the time, so he thought that they were going to continue their success.
Right. Boy,
And, it didn't happen, but he turned the gig down.
Talk about a band that took their own lyrics literally. They took those Broken Wings and flew away, never to be heard from again.
Right.
Was there ever another song after that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think that was it.
Not something that really topped the charts or anything.
I can't even remember anything being on the charts. They just went away. Them, Aha. Wasn't Aha at the same time?
Yeah, they were about that same era.
Another band thought they were going to be big, didn't turn into shit. Did they turn into anything?
I think they had maybe 2 songs. They had that Take On Me and some other B grade song.
I don't even remember the second song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other bands that were like that. There was a lot of those at that moment in time. You know, Tapao. Remember Tapao?
Yeah, of course.
I loved Heart and Soul, and I wanted to fuck that redhead like nobody's business. But after Heart and Soul, I even owned that record, and I can't remember another song. You know, that Glass Tiger.
Oh yeah.
Glass Tiger. Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Yeah, Canadian band.
And I don't think they had another hit, did they?
Nope. I don't think so.
There was just a slew of those bands that came out in that era that just had like 1 or 2 songs, and that was it.
That was the era of the one-hit wonders.
It really was. More than even the Eurythmics. The Eurythmics like are lauded as this great band, but did they have more than like 3 hits? They had Sweet Dreams. I don't remember anything else. Do you?
What was it? Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory.
So baby, talk to me.
That's the one.
Like lovers do. A good one in the chat room text, Till Tuesday.
Wow.
They had the Amy Mann, Voices Carry.
Yeah.
And then nothing. Look at Joe. Bang Tango were a no-hit one. He can't get over that I like Bang Tango. He always busts my balls about fucking Bang Tango.
You know what? I like Bang Tango myself.
I liked Psycho Cafe. I thought that was a solid album.
Yeah, that was kind of this really kind of funky rock stuff.
Yeah, it was different than all the schlock that was coming out at the moment.
True.
You know, I liked that one. Now, the one that came out after it, I did not like. That Dancing on Coals.
Yeah, Untied and True.
And Soul to Soul to Soul. Ugh, garbage. That was crap, but Psycho Cafe was pretty good. Yeah, the second album, or third album, I think it was third actually, was like their answer to Faster Pussycat.
Yeah.
They were just trying to sound like Faster Pussycat for some unknown reason. Not sure why, because if you're going to pick a band to copy, that wouldn't be it.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of that was management decisions or trying to steer them in a certain direction.
Do you think that if Faster Pussycat wouldn't have had the Cat House and that association with Ricky Rackman, that anyone would have ever known their name?
Boy.
I mean, The Bathroom Wall was a pretty cool song, but would they have, if it didn't get MTV push because of Rackman, would they have gotten that song on MTV? And then
that's the whole thing, is that MTV did play a huge part.
Sure.
In allowing bands that probably would never make it anywhere else a platform, or get them in the public eye.
Right. And I mean, Wake Me When It's Over is, I would guess, is their best record. And boy, there's not a lot there, is there?
Not really.
House of Pain. Even that's not that good of a song. That's like a song that Skid Row would have shit out and thrown away. Not good enough for our record. Here, you guys record it.
Sure.
I didn't like that. I get Tammy's a nice guy. I mean, Tammy always seemed like a nice guy to me the times I've met him, but musically, oof, not my thing. You like them or no?
Their first stuff, it just was that sleaze rock thing. They had that sleazy thing going on, but was I ever a huge fan? No. I've seen them
I have too.
three or four times.
Yeah, I've seen them a few times, and they were always it's weird because I liked LA Guns, but that was like the extent of my quote unquote sleaze rock stuff that I liked. All the real sleaze rock shit I fucking hated.
Yeah.
I really wasn't a fan of Faster Pussycat. Really, really wasn't a fan of, what was that band? With Sex Summers was the singer.
Oh,
Electric Boys.
Yeah.
Pretty Boy Floyd. Yeah.
Pretty Boy Floyd or Electric Boys.
Yeah. Electric Boys. I liked Hips and Lips or whatever.
Yeah. Pretty Boy Floyd was the one with the,
Electric Boys with leather toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fucking garbage. Just trash. But all those bands that were considered that sleaze era or that sleaze bands of that era, they all sucked. Every one of them was not good, at least to my ears.
Well, we always enjoyed having Christy Crash Majors on.
Fucking pedophile laugh.
Very creepy.
Yeah. And we got mixed up in their mess. Remember what? Yeah. 2014 or whatever? When
he said he'd let you have the Pretty Boy Floyd name for $1 or something.
Yeah. That was funny. But he was all mad at us that we sandbagged him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, what did I do? Just asked you the question and you gave me that fucking weird laugh. He really did sound like a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, he was a creeper, man.
He really was. Nice enough on the phone, but every time he laughed, I was like, oh my God, he's thinking of raping a 12-year-old. That was honestly, he would say something funny, be like, yeah, well, he's not getting the name from me. I was like, oh my God, it's the fucking Joker.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Was funny guy.
All right, well, let's play a couple of tunes and we'll come back and we'll get into some goofy shit.
All right, sounds good to me.
All right. This CD was produced by the deceased Robin Crosby of Rat fame.
Okay.
He basically worked with these guys and, kind of helped put them on the map a little bit. I'm talking about the band Lily and Axe.
I did not know that he worked with them.
He did. The debut release was produced by Robin Crosby.
Had no idea.
So a little fun fact there.
Yeah.
And we've had Steve Blaze on the show a few times, and very nice guy.
Right.
And anyway, I'm gonna play some All's Fair and Love at War.
Okay.
So here's some Lillian Axe exclusively here
On your classic metal show.